What's up, guys? Welcome back to 11 o'clock with Yuvern
and Jihan.
So this is episode 8.
Yeah.
Episode 8. And we wanted to make this part 2 of the previous episode because we had a lot to talk about and we didn't have enough time to talk about them. So
Yeah, we just thought that there's a lot more things to say. We actually wanted yesterday's episode 7 to be about movies and TV shows, but when we got into it, we realized that we opened the floodgates to thousands, hundreds of things we wanted to address, and we decided that it only seemed appropriate to make a part 2 where we address the movies because episode 7 was more about the shows. I'm good, Jian. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm glad that we started a bit earlier today and looking forward. By a bit earlier, I mean 3 a.m. in the morning, but that's okay. How are you doing, Jen?
You know what's funny? We didn't even realize that our previous episode, we want to talk about movies and TV shows, but we didn't even realize that we talked mostly about shows and only one movie until our friend Kathi brought it up.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, wait, so the only movie we talked about was Harry Potter? And oh shit. Right, so today's episode is going to be about movies, and let's just get into it. What do you say?
So there are different genres of movies. Where do we start? Let's just start with the most anticipated movies. Like probably a big moment in our lives was when the Avengers movies came out.
Of course, yeah.
Infinity War and Endgame. Oh man.
Of course. Right. So wait, before you go on, yeah. So that's this thing, right? The MCU. Wow. Because of the whole MCU, I'm getting really confused with the whole all my abbreviations are getting mixed up. Yeah, the whole MCU concept was something that we followed from the time that we were a kid, right? Like I remember when we first became friends, you have a tradition at home where you would go and watch all these movies with Amma. And I thought that was amazing. Like do you want to, maybe you should talk, you should address that, like tell them.
Like each time a new Marvel movie came out, ever since the first Iron Man movie, every single time the movie came out, we went and watched it in the theaters. I watched them all in sequence. I didn't skip a single movie up to Endgame. Okay,
Yeah.
It was insane. Actually insane. Every single Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It was quite a journey. 10 years in the making, right? Was it? 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years.
Oh, it was emotional. I remember crying. I remember a lot of moments. It was absolutely a journey. If you haven't started the MCU, which I don't think any of you still exist. I'm sure every of you at least watch one MCU movie. But if you haven't, I think it's definitely worth your time. It's not just a superhero movie. It's not just for kids. I don't think it's just for kids. I think it's a genre that fits everybody.
To the oh my god, this brings up that whole argument. There are these people who are like, DC is for adults and Marvel is for kids. Y'all need to shut the hell up. Like
Oh god.
Y'all, I don't like or hate one more than the other. Okay, it's just that I really like the MCU. I liked how they portrayed real life within the movies. How we got to actually get up close and personal with each character. Personally, my favorite movie was there are two movies that I really like is Doctor Strange and Black Panther. Doctor Strange for me was a spiritual revelation. Like watching the movie, it's for somehow it just coincided with my experiences at that time, with my spiritual experiences and all the things that he was teaching. I'm like, yeah, I talk about that, astral projection, I talk about that.
Oh my god, that's the thing. Benedict Cumberbatch, what a man. I loved his portrayal in Doctor Strange, and that's the thing.
They went as far as sorry.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, they really went the mile, and the casting was amazing. Like I can't see anybody portraying Doctor Strange better. And Doctor Strange has to be one of my most favorite Marvel movies. But also, I have to say that I have a certain bias to Guardians of the Galaxy. There's just something about that retro, and Groot and everybody that I just really really enjoy. It's so the comedy sense and everything.
I think that was the second movie, right? That was slightly more comedy than the first.
Yeah,
If I'm not wrong, that was the one that was directed by Taika Waititi, right?
yeah.
If I'm not wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the energy, I like the vibe. You feel the seriousness, but you also laugh in the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like with Thor Ragnarok, also.
Yeah, that's also another movie directed by him, right? I love his style of directing. It fits so well, and it's amazing. Thor Ragnarok.
He's gonna
definitely.
He's gonna start directing Star Wars movies now, so
Oh
looking
boy,
forward
yes.
to that.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Oh man. But so apart from the MCU universe, here's the thing. We are nerds. We're not going to deny that. We'll accept it. But I feel like we also really, really dive into a lot of movies outside the MCU.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we really wanted to focus on as well today. Like, we wanted to just discuss things that may not be obvious. I'm sure if you know us at all, you already know what big Marvel fans we are. But apart from that, like to get to know us on a deeper level, like
Oh yeah, baby.
yeah. we just thought we wanted to address some of the movies that we really really enjoy, that we watched growing up and even recently. So without further ado, the movie that we most watched recently, Guns Akimbo, Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh.
Uh,
Good movie.
Good movie. The plot was amazing. It was so funny. We remember just having our minds like like what the hell are we watching? Like Jesus.
What's funny about that movie is have you heard of the movie Nerve? Nerve?
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the actor.
Dave Franco, right?
Yeah.
James Franco's brother.
Yeah. It's a very similar concept, right? That whole online
Streaming,
online
the
thing
dance,
where
and
yeah.
And it's a very similar concept.
When that movie came out, I thought it was good and I liked it, but I felt something was missing. It was almost as if Guns Akimbo filled those gaps.
Yeah.
It was really plus it was Daniel Radcliffe. Like
yeah. Oh man,
man
Daniel
is
Radcliffe. Fine as hell. Yes. Oh my god. Wait, but here's the thing, okay? So, there was this one date. I don't know if you remember this day. I mean, okay, wait, I'm sure you do. I was at your place, and we were both in the room. We were serenading to Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And you were playing the guitar, we were both singing the song, and then we didn't really have a plan for that day. And we decided that, hey, why don't we go out, watch a movie or something. And so we go to watch this movie, Crazy Rich Asians. And I think we sat in the couple seat, right? Or like one seat below the couple seat or whatever it was. And I look to my left and Jen is asleep, in the first part of the movie. Jen is asleep in the first part of the movie. And then I'm like, damn it. But I was really enjoying the plot. And then I look to him. He wakes up the moment the wedding scene comes and she's walking down the aisle, and the song that plays, as the story goes, was Can't Help Falling in Love, and we remember looking at each other. And I get that we're dark club, but like even in the dark we managed to see each other, and we were like, what? Oh, the quality. That's
we
a
were
good
just
movie.
playing that song today. What are the odds that song plays in the movie that we just randomly chose today?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't even watch the trailer of that movie, and we just went and sat in.
Hello. You're portraying a very negative picture of me. Okay, like I fell asleep for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. 5 minutes. Fair point. We'll put that there.
Can't blame me. I was so tired. But I was also happy that I woke up right before the wedding, like holy shit.
Yeah, that was a scene to watch, What water
Water
flowing
suddenly
in,
flows.
Yeah. Just floods the whole church up, like.
Talk about extra, like, whew, really
Uh,
fitting the Asian stereotype, you know.
yeah.
Weddings are wild.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Spend $500,000 on a wedding, what the hell,
Hey, hey, if you got the money, you know, no, like it's not like people are poor or anything.
uh, right. Okay, let me ask you a question. What is the most memorable movie? If I asked you like, hey, what movie? When I mention the word movie, I guess what first comes to mind?
It's a very hard question. Like you know how you and I were talking about movies, and when you want to remember movies, you don't. You know, when you try to remember
Yeah.
movies, you don't. Nothing just come. I mean, maybe that's just me. You know, but
Yeah.
there are certain movies that I feel impacted me in a certain way that
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I feel changed my life. So certain movies like The Matrix changed
Ah.
my life for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's like putting you in an illusion, trying to understand what reality is, whether there isn't even is a reality. That whole
Yeah.
concept is completely resonates with me. If you guys know me at all, if you like to talk about this, hit me up in my DMs at Jalal
The Matrix.
uh,
Oh my god. It's a good
Matrix
movie. It's a
was a good
damn
movie.
good movie.
Keanu Reeves,
Keanu
man.
Reeves, exactly. What is that to hate? Yeah. Oh
If
my
I'm not
god.
mistaken, they're making new movies, right, for the Matrix, with also with Keanu Reeves, right?
I
I can't
haven't.
remember. I think I heard it somewhere. I'm not entirely sure myself.
I haven't heard
Yeah,
that.
but
Oh.
yeah, if you guys know whether this is true or not, like, can you guys please verify for us in the comment section below?
Yes. See, Google is a tap away. Come on.
Yeah, so, I'm just trying to communicate with our listeners. Like.
So yo. Che.
I think one other movie that I feel that had an effect similar to that was Fight Club. Fight Club was a pretty good movie. Have you ever watched Fight Club?
I haven't actually watched the Fight Club.
It's
I
what's his
should I
name?
should add that
Brad
to
Pitt.
my
Brad Pitt.
I should add that to my wish list. Let me just.
It was introduced to me by Sophia. Shout out to Sophia Irfan. She is the one who introduced that movie to me. And it was a really good movie. If you guys haven't watched it, you should check it out. It's not at
Yeah.
all what at least for me, when I had my preconceived impression of that movie, just because of the name Fight Club. When I watched the movie, it was something else completely. It blew my mind. And what about you? What is a movie that you feel impacted you?
Okay, I watched this when I was young. So I watched this when I was like very young. It's called The Boy in Striped Pajamas. I don't know if you've watched it, but it's about a kid who was in a Jewish camp held by the Nazis, and one of the army general's son makes friends with one of the Jewish boys, and they would meet every morning. There would be a fence, and they would meet opposite the fence. So the boy in the striped pajamas was the Jewish who was stuck in the camps, and this boy, the army general's son, and they were very close friends. They became best friends. They would share toys. This boy, and they made exchanges and stuff like that and all that, and the story becomes very sad, right? I'm not here to spoil the movie. I'm going to leave what happened for you to go and explore. But that movie really impacted me because it showed the struggles people went through in the world, and it put things in perspective for me. It sort of made me rethink my like who I am, and what am I doing. Because I feel like for a very long time my focus in life has just been very narrowed down to the closest circle, and and now my current goal is trying to extend my empathy to to broaden it to reach as far as I can, to understand that there are 8 billion people going through all sorts of problems. It's crazy. Yeah, but definitely The Boy in Striped Pajamas. And I think another one, um, this one I'm sure you've heard of. It's called The Imitation Game.
Oh.
Also by
Mm.
our big man, Benedict Cumberbatch. Beautiful. What a beautiful man. Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a movie on a biography of Alan Turing, known for inventing what we know today as the computer. And So the thing about this movie is that there's a quote in this movie that stuck with me from the first time I watched it. I didn't even need to sort of read it again, but it sort of like when Benedict said it, it sort of tattooed in my brain, and then it stuck there, you know. And the quote is that it is often the people that we think nothing of that do the things no one can imagine. And ever since then, you know, it's always because I've always sort of felt that, you know, like as individuals, you know, what are we? We're just one in a billion. And to be able to think that, you know, everybody who's famous now started off as us, you know, started off as just the same as us. Why it made me rethink on, you know, why we glorify people. Everybody's just the same. You know, why do we worship other humans when they're just the same as us and stuff like that?
Yeah, this is then the whole idea of why are there people who people regard higher than others, like there's somebody more worth than somebody else, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
If we go into talking about that, we can talk about a lot of dystopian movies. I talk about the Hunger Games. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are other movies too. I can't really seem to recall them now, but you get the point, like, you know.
Yeah, I get the point. Yeah, and you know, like that's the problem, right? It trickles down, and then you start having issues of stereotypical beauty standards and stuff, and all, and then that just sort of messes up your confidence and all that. But yeah, let's let's not dwell too much in those for now. And
but I like these movies that help send a message, that at least help put awareness in people, you know. It's one thing to be able to live in ignorance and to when we are born with certain privileges, or when we live with certain privileges, it feels okay to ignore certain things that are going on in the world. But these movies help put things into perspective, because not all of us grew up being taught to be aware, you know. Not everybody knows to be aware. So it's good that movies help us be aware. I like that. Like for me, a movie that did that was a movie called American History X. That was that one of my lecturers made us watch in ADP. Have you ever heard of it? The movie?
No, I actually haven't.
Well, if you ever get a chance to watch American History X, you should check it out.
Damn. Hey, gee, do you remember that whenever we have a meal, we sit in a circle and we say grace?
Right? I was just thinking about it a few days ago. I was thinking.
Yeah. So we and my friends, when we go out and we have a meal together, right before we all have a meal, and all the food has arrived, we all hold hands and we say grace. And the thing is, our grace isn't the typical being grateful, thankful, and anything. It's a short story. It's a story about two mice that fell into a bucket of butter. Let me just quickly say it here. So 2 mice fell into a bucket of butter. No, I'm sorry. Tongue slip there. 2 mice fell into a bucket of cream, and one mice drowned in the butter of cream, and the other mice ran until it churned the cream into butter and got out. And then we'd ask each other, like, which mice are you? And then we'd start eating our meal. And the inspiration of that quote came from a movie, came from a movie called Catch Me If You Can. Leonardo Dicaprio and... Gee, you gotta help me with this. The guy acted in Forrest Gump. I hate myself for not remembering his name.
Tom Hanks. Tom
Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. Amazing movie. It's based on a true story. It's a biography of a man, a con artist. That's also something worth checking out. Yeah.
Let's talk about DiCaprio for a second. He's a damn good.
Yeah.
My God. So many good movies. To name a few, the one where he's stuck on the island.
Wow.
What is that movie's name?
I see it.
Do you know this?
I see it. No, wait.
Shutter Island.
Oh my God, yes.
Good movie.
Amazing.
The movie that he won the Oscar for, what movie was that?
Revenant, right?
Revenant? I still haven't watched that movie.
Oh, it's a good movie. He does some pretty messed up things in the movie, but it's well deserved, lah. It's well deserved. My first introduction of DiCaprio, of course, Titanic.
Oh my God.
I mean, sue me, but I still think he could have fit on that door. There was no way that he was going to. Damn it.
It's okay, when it's easy for us to talk, like they were stuck in freezing cold water, like we don't know what it was like. But,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that just marks a certain side of movies for us. These so-called classic movies, movies like you mentioned, Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump was also a damn good movie.
Yeah.
What other classic movies can you remember?
10 Things I Hate About You. I have to dive into a bit of rom-com, like.
It's a movie.
It's a good movie. 10 Things I Hate About You and Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle. Oh my god, it's amazing.
10 Things I Hate About You was
Heath Ledger.
casted Heath Ledger, right?
Yeah.
Good looking man.
Peace. I miss him, dude. I miss him so much.
Rest in peace, my G.
Yeah. Best Joker. Like,
Another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, hands down favorite Joker.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Jared Leto, but like you don't even come close.
Yeah.
I know there are a whole lot of Jared Leto fans. Like they are the Jared Leto Joker proponents, but I'm sorry, lah. When I watched Batman when I was younger, when I saw Heath Ledger as the Joker, he had an impact on me, on my mind. I was genuinely, not to say scared, but like it affected me in a way. It made me feel confused about life, about reality, about what's true and what's not. Because the way he put things into perspective, he's not crazy. He's just really aware,
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The madness of the Joker that was portrayed by him did not come out of insanity. It came out of awareness, and it really puts things in perspective, on who's right here,
Lots of movies help that, putting things into perspective. I think, like we mentioned earlier, The Hunger Games, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
There was a movie that I liked. It was a French movie called Nothing to Hide. Have you heard of that movie?
No, I haven't. My international spectrum is just mostly into Hindustani, Tamil, or I actually don't really watch a lot of French movies, but I definitely should. You're saying?
I don't really watch that many foreign movies, but I like to explore different kinds of movies, and this happened to pop up on Netflix, so I watched it with Lina.
Yeah.
And it was a really good movie because I felt like these movies tend to tackle certain controversial ideas. When it comes to French movies, I feel like inclined towards psychology for some reason. And in this movie, it was like a group of friends where they played this game while they were having dinner, where whenever a phone gets a notification or gets a phone call or something along those lines, they have to read it out loud. Meaning everybody at the table must know. So there's literally nothing to hide between that group of friends. And you can imagine that it sounds simple, sounds easy for people to do, but may not be,
Yeah. Man. It really, actually, like, I would like to have all your secrets possibly just put out there for the world to know. Like, I mean, your world with all your friends and all, but let's talk about this impacting thing. I like to touch a bit more on the impactful movies. Let's talk about there's a Malaysian movie. I think I've told you about this. 2 movies actually. Aisha 50 and Sepet. They are 2 Malaysian movies that are amazing in their stories. They made me cry. I remember after watching that movie, I just sat like half an hour with my room pitch black, sitting and just thinking about it for a second, and I was like, no, that was not how I wanted it to end. No. And it is definitely worth your time. I think it's up on YouTube. I actually don't know where to get a legit copy of it, but you can watch it at 480 pixels on YouTube. But it's worth it. It's worth the quality. Like, it's definitely worth it.
I think you mentioned this movie to me a while back. I still haven't watched it. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, I mean
nice things about it.
It's solid. Yeah, it's solid. Oh my god! But here's the thing, right? I don't know. If you are interested, that's a Tamil movie, that I actually do want to touch on. It's by Vijay lah, so it's going to be very controversial to mention it when on. But do you remember Kathi?
Yes.
Yeah, Kathi is a Tamil movie that has a double role by Vijay, very prominent Indian actor, and it's essentially a movie about the sufferings the village goes through in a developing country, when when in first world countries just sort of exploit second third world countries and developing countries with their resources and everything, and it's talks about the suffering that the farmers go through in villages, and how they don't have enough water and stuff like that. It also put things in perspective for me, how we take things for granted, things like water. It's literally a turn of a tap away, and there are people out there suffering without water around the world, not just in India. And I love that idea. When you mentioned it just now, movies puts things in perspective. It extends your empathy on a whole other level. It's one thing to hear a story, but to see it portrayed like
We tend to underestimate how powerful movies really are. And,
yeah.
I like that there are some people, like some good friends of mine who watch movies and understand the importance of them, that they are a kind of lens in order for us to see the world. Like it is really like, imagine you're watching a movie, it's a screen where a whole other world is being portrayed, even if you don't see that world in person, but
Yeah.
you see a whole other world in front of you, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You learn a lot of things, and yeah, I hope that I can discover a lot more movies that have this impact. Now that you mentioned Vijay, he had one other movie that was more or less similar, like, except that the context was different. What movie? Mersal.
Oh my god, yeah. Believe it or
It's actually
not,
about the
I was
same guy.
contemplating in my head whether I should talk about Kathi or Marisol, but I'm glad you did the other, like Marisol.
The reason Mersal is closer to me is because in that movie he's a magician. Okay.
Right,
I
yeah.
happen to do magic too. So that's the only reason.
But also a story, I remember tearing up so much at some of the scenes in the movie that just broke my heart. It's not even the kind of thing that you just see a tear trickling. It's the whole, that whole crying, like. Oh my god. Okay, another thing about movies, right? Like watching movies and all. So, like, coming back to the MCU, you there's a certain bond that you build when you watch a movie with a friend, and or like with your partner and everything. And for me personally, the MCU did that for me. I used to be in a long, like, my past relationship was a long distance relationship, and so because I couldn't see her that often, we sort of just made a pact that we would watch the MCU movies together, and then we would wait and watch them first with each other. And the lengths that we went to make that happen, staying away from social media to avoid spoilers, planning trips to where to meet, and how are we going to do this and things like that. And it's such quite a journey. So now when you think about the MCU universe, it's not only just, it's an amazing thing when you associate it with these memories in your life. It creates a whole different impact as well. And I don't know, like for me and you as well, like Jillinu or Kadal, also another Tamil movie. We should add the names to this in case if you're unfamiliar with it, but it's definitely worth go checking it out. There's subtitles, solid movie.
Oh, really good movie.
Yeah.
Yuvern and I sat in my room and watched it together. Like, it was awesome. It was such a good movie. I can't believe it took. I watched the movie so late in my life, because Yuvern has watched it so much earlier. It's a pretty old movie.
Yeah.
Surya acts in that movie, and Jyotika, two of my favorite Tamil actors, really. Yuvern is more of a Vijay fan, like, so.
I can't help it.
It's a sort of rivalry, but I'm not very particular about. I'm not very like biased towards any actor. I like all that. I like Vikram in the movie Onion was really good. Onion one of my favorite
God.
movies, hands down.
Yeah, Onion.
Yeah, good movie.
Yes, definitely.
He has plenty of other good movies too. Deva Thirumagal, good movie. I also like Vijay Sethupathi. Oh, that movie Vikram Vedha put so much of perspective in my head.
Yeah.
The whole idea of good and bad and where is the line, whether there even is a line. Then
Exactly.
it always boils down to the same thing, to this kind of like this different perspectives idea.
That line, yeah. And that's the thing, right? Interesting thing when you talk about the good and bad and where is the line. I remember when I used to study, one of my lecturers said, when I used to study, I'm still studying, but in my previous college, they said, when you question what is good and what is bad and what is right and what is wrong, that line is never definite. It's not a straight line. It's a gray area, and within that gray area is what the law is, and that's how lawyers make money. And I was like, what? Like, you're exploiting this whole thing,
Yeah. When I was much younger, like I lived by rules, like we're taught to follow rules, that there is a right and that there is a wrong,
Yeah.
and that we have to follow those rules. And now it's like if you asked me like 1 year ago, I would have been so pissed off if somebody were to tell me, hey, like that's not legal, like that
Yeah.
makes it wrong.
Yeah.
No, you can't think that way. Maybe in this context, in this country, you shouldn't do it because you may get caught or whatever. But like you can't immediately define it as wrong because just because the law says so does not make it right or wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
We can
I
talk
mean-
about this extensively in a whole.
Yeah, honestly, to put it in simple terms, at one point being gay was wrong. I mean, it still is here, but yeah, it puts things in perspective. Women could never vote, and that was a law.
Yeah, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
being gay wasn't just wrong; it was they considered it a psychological disorder. What?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's how Alan Turing died, and things like that puts things in perspective. And here's the thing, like if we were to just accept it as the law and stick with it, even though we have a sense to say that we should question it. Yeah, you should, because the law should be along the lines of what the community thinks is right and wrong. That's what the law is at the end, right? I just feel like some
Not
people,
not even the community. Like, I feel it's just those in power, lah.
yeah,
At the end of the day,
unfortunately,
it always benefits those in power, lah.
yeah,
As long as you are privileged, as long as you have a bit more money, your chances of you winning a case so much higher. That's a fact of life.
yeah.
That's the problem. We cannot just accept it. I can't just say it's a fact and then be okay with it. That's not right.
Uh,
Yeah, we can have an hour-long conversation about this.
Yeah.
But we have successfully hit the 33-minute mark of this
Oh
episode.
god. Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. Oh my god. I feel like there are hundreds of movies on this line here, but you know what?
Don't apologize,
Yeah.
man. Like, oh, you and I can talk about this. This is what we love talking about. And
Yeah, exactly.
maybe we'll extend this to a part 3 or something, like, you never know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but for what I can guarantee you is that all the movies that we have on our OneNote here, I'll be sure to make them a list in the description for you to go and access. Just so that but at least knowing that we are into this movie sort of puts perspective on like the kind of things we're into. And if you haven't seen any of them, we guarantee you that everything on this list is worth your time. It's amazing. Oh my god. Okay.
We
Yeah.
rank our taste in movies so highly.
I mean, we have to. Like I said, we started a podcast. If you don't value our taste, like, then what is it, Right. On that final note, like, thank you so much for listening to us. And if you made it this far, like, we're so grateful. And again, like, this means so much to us, and we're so excited to make so many more episodes. And thank you, G. Thank you for tonight. It's been amazing.
Thank you too. And we love you guys. Till the next time.
Till tomorrow.
Cheers.
Cheers.